Welcome back, everybody. In the health center tonight, minorities receive less mental health treatment compared to whites. And in recent months, of course, mental health problems have only been exacerbated by holiday stress and, of course, the pandemic. But earlier this month, I should say, I spoke with actor Courtney B. Vance about his personal story related to suicides in his own family. And as part of that conversation was also Dr. Robin, Oprah Winfrey's clinical psychologist, about this very complicated issue.
Let's be real. We don't have a great history of doctors taking care of people of color in this country. Let's just be real now.
Sir, just to your right.
Emmy award-winning actor Courtney B. Vance is taking a break from the red carpet.
It's time to come out of the shadows.
His latest role, straight talker.
When someone has control of your entire being, they can do what they want to. And so doctors for us is not the same thing as doctors for someone else.
Mental health and minorities, two subjects that have a troubled past. There was the racist Tuskegee experiment that began in 1932. A federal study initially involving 600 black men without their consent to study a vaccine for syphilis. It wasn't until decades later, on May 16th, 97, the government finally apologized.
To our African-American citizens, I am sorry that your federal government orchestrated a study so clearly racist. That can never be allowed to happen again.
But that wasn't enough. The stigma remains today, and Vance says that needs to change, especially now during a pandemic on the verge of mass vaccinations.
There's a crisis going on. How are we going to deal with the crisis here, and getting people to go, even getting folks of color to do the trials? It's something that we've got to talk our way through.
Vance is starting that conversation by revealing intimate and tragic details about his own past.
My father killed himself 25 years ago, and my mother found him in the house. My sister and I, we were all in shock. He was the center of our lives.
The successful actor never forgot the advice he got from his grieving mother.
My sister and I came in town, helped her, got her things together. And when we were about to leave, she said, "Courtney, I want you and Cecily, when you go back to your respective homes, I want you to find a therapist in your areas. I'm going to do the same. This is not going to take us down. It's going to take us, we're going to allow it to take us up, and we're going to come closer together because of it."
Vance has teamed up with Oprah's clinical psychologist, Dr. Robin, to speak about the importance of mental health.
The lack of safety, the lack of trust, the lack of credibility for Black and brown people to have reliable health care and mental health care, it has been a scary environment to ever think that we could trust someone with our lives, but really to trust them with our minds. We've been so afraid that if I let someone get to my mind, they're going to mess me up. What we don't know and what we don't understand is that the isolation in and of itself is killing us.
Walter Wallace Jr. suffered from mental illness. Body camera video from October shows police fatally shooting the 27-year-old father of 8 after officers appear to tell him to put down a knife as he approached them.
Put the knife down! Shoot him. Move! Put the knife.
His mother was there.
The story you're talking about happened right here in Philadelphia, that someone was having a mental health episode, and instead of being helped, they were killed. And for the family or the people around you, actually, we want to invite people to talk about how they're really feeling. That can save a life.
Say his name. Ricardo Munoz, another name, another police shooting of a minority suffering from mental health. His sister had called 911 for help. Body camera video shows Munoz approaching police with a knife before an officer shoots him dead.
Y'all killed us. Y'all killed one of us tonight. Justice!
These fatal shootings once again sparked thousands of protests in 2020. 68 years since Tuskegee.
What the United States government did was shameful.
13 years since that presidential apology.
And I am sorry.
And images like this still fill our screens. The CDC reports that minorities are less likely to receive a mental health diagnosis or treatment. And if they do, they often receive less than adequate care, something Vance and his family were forced to deal with for a second time just this past summer.
My godson took his life, and the family was doing everything right. There is something about having access to good health care and good help, knowing where to go, what to do when somebody gives you a no.
And something both want to change during these unparalleled times.
And so we have to find the right person to tell our truth to. Yeah.
And finding that right person can be hard, but if you are suffering and need help right away, Dr. Robbins says you should call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273